Now, city officials in St. Cloud, Minnesota say former President Donald Trump campaign owes them more than $200,000 for services related to a July rally.
Valley News Team's Bobby Fallett was at that rally. He joins us now live in studio with an update. Bobby.
Justin, Stacey, reports say that this bill is for services beyond what the city is normally providing. Now, Trump and running mate J.D. Vance, they spoke to a hockey arena on St. Cloud State University's campus on July 27th. An overflow crowd. They watched Trump speak for more than an hour and a half on a big screen outside the arena. Now, expenses include $63,000 for extra police work during that rally, $62,000 to change a construction project near where the rally was held, and close to $2,000 for IT-related services. Now, reports do say that in August, Trump's campaign paid a $35,000 bill from St. Cloud State University related to the July rally. Justin, Stacey.